This is one of those stories that feels like it's ripped straight from a movie script, but it's a powerful scenario about prejudice and instant karma. While the characters and events are fictional, the issues they highlight are very real. Picture this: the officer's face, slick with rain and twisted with rage, lunges forward. His name is Miller. A glob of spit flies through the air, landing squarely on the cheek of the woman before him. She doesn't even flinch. Her expression is impossibly calm as she holds his furious gaze. A gasp ripples through the small crowd huddled under a bus stop awning. Phones, already recording the argument, are now held high. For a split second, Officer Miller smirks. He thinks he's won. He put this woman, this obstacle, in her place. But that smirk dissolves the moment her hand moves, not to her face, but slowly, deliberately, inside her coat. The crowd, and Officer Miller, hold their breath. What she pulls out isn't a weapon. It's a small, leather wallet. And when she flips it open, the glint of a golden badge cuts through the dreary afternoon light. Rewind cut, 20 minutes earlier, Section 1, the setup. The day started with a dreary drizzle that was quickly turning into a storm. At a busy intersection, a delivery truck had clipped a sedan. No one was hurt, but tempers were short. 2 patrol cars responded. One officer, a rookie, was patiently taking statements. The other was Officer David Miller. Miller had been on the force for 15 years, and he carried himself with an air of weary superiority. To many in the community, he was a bully with a badge who saw every conversation as a challenge. The argument didn't start with him, but he was drawn to it like a moth to a flame. A woman waiting for her bus stepped forward to offer a witness account. "Excuse me, officer," she said, her voice calm and clear. "I saw the whole thing. The light for the sedan was green. The truck ran the red light. Her name was Eva Rostova. She was a black woman in her late 40s, dressed professionally in a trench coat. There was a quiet confidence about her that stood in stark contrast to the chaotic scene. She wasn't being aggressive, she was simply stating a fact." Officer Miller turned his head slowly, his eyes narrowing. It was a look of instant dismissal. "And who are you?" he asked, his tone dripping with condescension. "I'm a concerned citizen who saw the accident," she replied, her voice steady. Miller's rookie partner started to walk over. "Ma'am, if you're a witness, I can take your statement." But Miller waved him off. He stepped toward Rostova, getting into her personal space. "A concerned citizen," he repeated, turning the words into an insult. "Look, we've got this. Why don't you go back to waiting for your bus and let the police do their job?" The message was clear: your input isn't wanted. But Rostova didn't move. "With all due respect, officer," she said, her tone still perfectly even, "your colleague is trying to get the facts. I have a fact that could help him. I saw the truck's signal. It was red." For Officer Miller, this wasn't about a minor traffic accident anymore. It was about being questioned. It was about a black woman daring to correct him in public. He saw it as a direct challenge to his authority. "Are you telling me how to do my job?" he growled, his voice low and menacing. "I'm providing a witness account," Rostova stated, refusing to be intimidated. Her calm composure seemed only to fuel his anger, reflecting his own unprofessionalism back at him. He was used to people cowering or shouting back. This quiet, unshakable dignity was something he didn't know how to handle, and it infuriated him. Section 2, the confrontation. The rain was coming down hard now, and the tension on the street corner was crackling. Miller took another step closer to Rostova, so close she could smell the stale coffee on his breath. The rookie, sensing things were spiraling, tried to intervene. "Miller, let's just take her statement," he said, almost pleading. Miller ignored him, his focus entirely on the woman in front of him. "You know, people like you are the problem," he spat, his voice getting louder. "You watch a few TV shows and suddenly you're an expert on police procedure. You have no respect for this badge. Captain Rostova's eyes were locked on his. "Respect is earned, officer," she said quietly. "It's earned by how you treat the people you've sworn to protect. All of them." Her words hit him like a physical blow. The crowd at the bus stop was now filming openly, the red dots of their phone cameras like a dozen tiny eyes watching his meltdown. The public recording and her quiet defiance all came together in a perfect storm of rage in his mind. "You want to talk about respect?" he yelled, his face inches from hers. "You're interfering with a police investigation. I could arrest you for obstruction of justice." "On what grounds?" Rostova asked, still impossibly calm. "For offering my testimony. For exercising my First Amendment right. You know that wouldn't hold up for 5 minutes." She wasn't just a citizen, she was a citizen who knew her rights, and this fact seemed to make him even angrier. He was losing control. He felt the eyes of the crowd, saw the cameras, and felt a surge of defiant fury. He wanted to assert his dominance in the most degrading way he could. "I'm done talking to you," he snarled. And then he did it. He gathered the saliva in his mouth and spat directly in her face. The act was so shocking that a dead silence fell over the street. The only sounds were the rain and a distant siren. The rookie's mouth hung open in disbelief. Spitting on someone is a profound act of disrespect. For a police officer to do it was an unimaginable abuse of power. Miller's chest heaved, a smug sneer spreading across his lips. He thought he had finally broken her. He expected her to scream or lash out. He got none of that. Eva Rostova stood perfectly still, the spittle sliding down her cheek with the rain. She didn't wipe it away. She simply held his gaze, her calm replaced by a cold, hard authority. The kind of authority that doesn't need to be shouted. Section 3, the resolution, "You just assaulted a superior officer," she said. Her voice wasn't loud, but it cut through the air like a scalpel. Miller let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "Superior officer? Lady, you're delusional. You're a nobody who's about to spend the night in a holding cell." Instead of replying, Rostova calmly reached inside her coat. Her movements were slow and deliberate. She pulled out a small, black leather wallet and flipped it open. There, nestled against the leather, was a gleaming gold badge. It wasn't the silver badge of a patrol officer. It was larger, more ornate, with the rank clearly engraved, "Captain." She held it up for him to see. "Captain Eva Rostova. Your new commanding officer for this precinct. My transfer was effective at 0800 this morning." The world seemed to slow down for Officer Miller. His entire universe shrank to the space between his eyes and that golden badge. Captain. The woman he had just verbally abused, threatened, and spat on was not just a captain. She was his captain. The color drained from his face, replaced by a wave of pure, cold terror. I. Captain. I didn't know, he stammered. That's the problem, Officer Miller, Captain Rostova said, her voice like ice. You didn't know. And you didn't care. You saw a black woman, and you assumed she was powerless. You treated me in a way you never would have treated someone you saw as an equal. Your disrespect had nothing to do with my actions and everything to do with your prejudice. You spat on a citizen, Miller. It's just your bad luck that citizen turned out to be your boss. She finally pulled a handkerchief from her pocket and wiped her cheek. She then turned to the rookie, who was frozen like a statue. Officer, she said, her tone firm, take Officer Miller's badge and service weapon. He is on administrative leave, effective immediately. Escort him back to the precinct. I want a full report, including your unedited body cam footage, on my desk within the hour. The rookie, snapping into action, looked from Miller to his new captain. Yes, ma'am, he said, his voice a mix of fear and relief. Miller offered no resistance. As his partner disarmed him, the humiliation he tried to inflict on Captain Rostova was returned to him 100-fold, witnessed by the same crowd and recorded by the same cameras. In a story like this, the videos would go viral, sparking public outrage. An investigation would be swift. Faced with undeniable video evidence, an officer like Miller would likely be terminated. But firing one officer isn't the whole solution. The real issue is the culture that allowed someone like him to operate for 15 years. In her first address to her new precinct, Captain Rostova would make it clear, what happened on that street corner was a disgrace. From this moment forward, we will be a department that values de-escalation over confrontation and respect over arrogance. We will serve every single member of this community with the dignity they deserve, not the dignity you decide they are worth. True authority doesn't come from a badge or a gun, it comes from character and earning the trust of the people you serve. The incident would become a catalyst for profound change, all because one officer made the mistake of spitting on the wrong woman. This story is a powerful reminder that true authority lies in character, not just rank. What do you think is the most important quality for a police officer to have? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you believe in stories of justice and accountability, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Conclusion: the story of Captain Eva Rostova and Officer Miller, while fictional, serves as a stark illustration of a deeper issue, the abuse of power and the corrosive effects of prejudice. Officer Miller's fictional actions were an insult to the badge and the public trust. Captain Rostova's response, full of dignity and professionalism, highlights the strength required to lead and to reform. It underscores the critical need for accountability and demonstrates that true change often begins when one person refuses to accept disrespect. In the end, it's a powerful lesson that respect isn't conditional, it's a fundamental right, and those who fail to give it may face consequences they never saw coming.